carrying out any campaign to put an end to this practice of untouchability. Now Surgeon is a leading NGO from Gujarat. It has conducted a in-depth survey, in-depth study in randomly picked up 1,589 villages, and they found out that there are 98 types of untouchability still prevailing in Gujarat, a state which is projected before all of us as a model state. Vibrant Gujarat, swarnim Gujarat, economically prosperous Gujarat, number one Gujarat. But even after an NGO submitting such a shocking report, government of Gujarat is not taking any cognizance of that. Now, when I ask a question to myself, what we as Dalit movement are also doing, so forget government. There is also not serious campaign on the part of the Dalit Bahujan Ambedkarite movement or even on the part of left liberal groups regularly doing any kind of campaign to take cognizance of the untouchability. So we kind of as a society have accepted that untouchability is there and it will remain there. So we have the Honorable Minister of Karnataka government sitting in the audience. I would request him, so Social Justice and Welfare Department should create a team, identify the villages here in Karnataka, set an example, and bring out which are the cases, which are the areas, which are the villages where untouchability is still being practiced. And we should also carry out some sort of social reform program. And even after those efforts, if we are not able to eradicate untouchability, then as per the provisions of Protection of Civil Rights Act, we should start registering the FIR. But what is happening? Neither we as civil society groups are carrying any social reform programs, nor political parties have this as an agenda, nor the Social Justice Welfare Department in any government is inclined to put an end to the practice of untouchability. Almost similar is the situation with the Atrocities Act. Atrocities Act, as we know, is a prevention of atrocities on scheduled caste, scheduled tribe act. It should prevent atrocities from happening. What is happening in the case of atrocities is like IPC, when an incident happens, police prashashan will go and register the FIR. But here we have a special law, special legislation to ensure that there are no atrocities. If we see the last data, in last 2 years, there have been more than 1 lakh cases of atrocities. Ever since Mr. Modi has come to power, the so-called upper caste forces have become so emboldened and they feel now it is their turn to take on Dalits and tribals. So with every passing day, more and more atrocities we are witnessing. There is a provision in the Atrocity Act that the victims of caste violence, whether Adivasi or Dalit, can be provided brick lanes, they can be provided stone quarry, they can be provided pension, they can be provided agricultural land, they can be provided government jobs. But nothing is provided in any state government. So on one hand, we are not running any campaign to put an end to the practice of untouchability. We are not taking any preventive measures to stop atrocities from occurring. Even after the occurrence of the offences, as mandated under the Atrocities Act, Executive Magistrate, Sub-Divisional Magistrate, District Magistrate, Superintendent of Police, nobody is doing the spot inspection. They are not preparing the reports, explaining to what extent the loss of life has occurred to the victim's family. We are not providing them agricultural land. See, look at the policy of land reforms. Raju sir rightly pointed out how much we share from the piece of cake, how much wealth we have. We Dalits and tribals and lower OBCs and DNTs and Muslims, they are the working class of India. They are the organic proletariat of Indian soil. They are the ones who have been pouring out their blood and sweat in creating all the commodities, including the mic that I am using right now. But how much wealth do we have at the moment is a huge, huge question. So at least we should focus as a government, as political party, as progressive movements, as Dalit Bahujan movement, we should bring back our focus on the distribution of resources, particularly on the land. During the last phase of, yesterday I was discussing, Anand is here, Anand Dil Tumde, we were discussing during the last phase of his political career in his life, Dr. Ambedkar was really disturbed. He was not been able to do much about the land rights of the landless people. So he asked some of his colleagues, in particular Dada Saheb Gaikwad and all. And under the leadership of Dada Saheb Gaikwad, a huge land struggle got initiated all throughout the Maharashtra and then all throughout the country. We will be happily shocked to know more than 360,000 people got detained and arrested in that land struggle. What happened to that project of land reforms? Nobody these days talking about land. So we as Congress and all other political parties, we as Dalit Bahujan groups, we as Dalit Bahujan movement, we as progressive movement, we as social justice and welfare department, we should start distributing land to the landless people. In India, who will become land owner and who will remain landless is devised and designed by caste. In India, who will become Mandir ka pujari and who will die inside the sewer is designed by caste. So to dismantle this casteist socio-economic structure, land reforms are extremely vital. We have a provision of granting land from the Sealing Act. We have a provision of granting land to the landless people from the quota of government wasteland, whether it is Maharashtra or Karnataka or Gujarat or Orissa, wherever you go and see, thousands and thousands of acres of land have been allotted to the landless people, Dalits and tribals and OBCs in particular, but in the most of the cases, possession remains with the dominant caste people. Now we have a provision under IPC, illegal trespassing. In Gujarat, we have a Land Grabbing Act. We have a provision via Section 31F in Atrocities Act. Whoever not being a member of SC/ST, if wrongfully occupies and cultivates the land allotted to SC/ST, then it's a criminal offence. But there is not a single state government which is filing FIRs against these so-called dominant caste people who have wrongfully occupied and cultivated the land which is actually allotted to tribals and Dalits and OBCs. So we should take it up as a very serious kind of cause. You know, if anything is going to take us towards the project of annihilation of caste, land reforms are extremely important. Many of the cases of atrocities, if you study in depth, are somewhere connected with the land relations. So I take this as an opportunity, and we should make it the agenda of Dalit Bahujan movement. It should also be the agenda of Congress party and our social justice department, whenever it is possible, not just to the victims of caste violence as it is mandated under the act, but even we should push it through the revenue department. Maximum distribution of land should definitely take place. We should also focus on the SC/ST Subplan Act. In the absence of the SC/ST Subplan Act, crores and crores of rupees which should have directly gone to the tribals and Dalits have been used for other purposes. Suppose I am the health minister, if I want to set up 3 primary health centers, the budget should come from the health department. If I am the home minister and if I want to set up 5 police chowki, the budget should come from home department. But what is happening across India, the budget which is part of the SC/ST subplan is being used for those purposes. So we should stop that, we should ensure that it doesn't happen anymore. And of late we have been hearing more from the Congress party about the caste census. So definitely I am all for caste census, provided after counting how many OBCs and tribals and TNTs and Dalits we have, our focus should be in distributing land, distributing resources. We should get tenders, we should get contracts. Our startups and entrepreneur guys should be getting cash credit, financial support. So we want piece from the cake. That is what we should be focusing on. Yeah.
Thank you, Jignesh.